In case you missed it, there was rather a large update from Galaxy of Heroes in relation to the 10-year anniversary, and even though I did a really brief video summarizing a couple of the items, I thought what I would do is take a little extract from that, and I want to talk to you just a little bit about how gearing characters is going to change in the new world post the update that's coming on the 18th. It's kind of nuanced, it's kind of interesting. Let's talk about it. Now, we all know how gearing works currently in the game. You take a trash character like Clone Wars Chewbacca, and then you earn your gear and you click this upgrade button. You go all the way up into relic levels, provided you've got all of the gear necessary. In order to get this gear, we do various things in the game, like farming nodes, we do events, we've got weekly challenges, we sell our souls to the devil, we crack open the wallet, we flap out the dust, we blow into it, maybe choke a little bit, cry some tears of sadness and wonder how you got to where you are today. And then you realize it's been 7 years and you're still looking at the same pixels. We were talking about gearing, weren't we? Yes, we were. We were talking about gearing. So that's the current world of gearing characters. Some bits of gear are harder to get than others. I'm talking about Chirotech. Used to be things like carbonite circuit boards and bronzium wiring. Well, they're still kind of difficult right now, but also Carbantes, stun guns, stun cuffs, all those things used to be super hard. Even to a degree, Chirotech kind of is hard for most players, but when you get to the end game, it's kind of a non-issue, right? CG are kind of flipping it on its head now. Kind of, with the new release that's coming out in November. What they're doing essentially is they're looking at your standard roster of characters and they say, hey, this here is your legacy roster of characters. We're going to introduce a new tab up here and shift everything down, and it will be the era tab, right? Okay, and that will consist of all the characters that get released in a current era. Like if we were to look at the episode track right now, we were in episode 2 of the era of Deadly Pursuits. So we had the Rebel Y-Wing, we had the Rogue One, we had the B-Wing, right? Then we had Zuckuss and Forlom, or Forlom and Zuckuss, whichever way around you want to see it. Those would be considered era characters. Now, when an era character comes to the game, it doesn't take gear at all. They don't need gear. You can't gear them. You also can't apply mods to them. So how do we level them up? So this is what I was talking about. We'll have a new section over here for era units. That's where all the era characters will go from. This era of the anniversary is got Stormtrooper Luke, IG-90, Yoda and Chewie, Asajj Ventress, Dark Disciple, Inquisitor Barriss, Darth Vader's dual end, and then eventually it will have Maul, really angry spider legs boy, Spooder Maul, as he's affectionately known. You'll notice this is obviously very different. We don't see gear levels, we don't see Zetas, we don't see Omicrons, we don't see relic indicators, none of that. It's just kind of really handsome looking pictures of everybody just aura farming in the background. Now, what each of these characters will have is a error level that you can see here. The total error level, I'm not sure how that really translates, but each individual character will have an error level. Those error levels can span from 0, obviously, as you can see here, all the way up to 95, okay? How do we get those error levels? So this is the image or the infographic that CG has provided for us. This is what it's going to look like when you look to invest in those characters. So this error level that you can see on the side here, it's going to scroll down, starts at 0, goes all the way up to 95. That is going to be reflective of your new gearing and leveling process. In order to do it, we need this new currency. I'm not sure what the name of this is just yet. Let's call it error currency. I'm sure it'll be something like that, right? And that will help you level up. Obviously, it's going to scale as you progress. Now, there is another little icon that I'll show you just now behind my face here in the bottom left corner. This little material down here, I don't know what this is. In order to apply this or where we get it, I'm sure we'll find out what this is in the future. And this is, of course, the currency that we've got. So it requires both of these things in order to invest in these guys and level them up. As they level up in this instance, currently level 4, you'll see that they'll get ability upgrades, and that will also increase their stats and also increase their ultimate gear level when they leave from the error system into your normal, what they call legacy account. Now, they go on to say that there is a little bit of nuance about how high you can go in this error system. base people who are just not spending any money on this game, not using their crystals to perhaps purchase marquee packs. You've seen them all the time. Let's grab one up on the screen right now just so that we can articulate the point. Over here, for example, there's a Zuckus pack. £71 over here for 100 shards. There's a £30 version. You can spend 1,300 crystals to get a chance at pulling some shards. You can spend 6,000 crystals for 5 chances at pulling shards of a new character. I expect all of this to still exist. The new leveling system that we find within the era system is completely separate from sharding, from what I understand. It is just around the power of the character in terms of gearing and abilities and levels, essentially, right? You still shard the system in the same marquee way, I believe. There's nothing in the post that suggests that is done any way differently. However, some of the upper levels that you can reach a character to in the new era system are gated by the stars. And that sounds like a very sort of, oh, it's a whale thing, but realistically speaking, based on what CG is saying, it's actually a win for everybody, free-to-play players included, because now if you play the game like you normally do, log in every day, do your dailies, complete your quests, and do the era stuff, then you should be able to get that character at gear 12 at the end of the era, which is a huge win because it costs you no gear. So they do say here that players will need a variety of era materials to upgrade a unit's era level. We saw that in the previous post. There's an era currency and there's an era material. I don't know if there'll be multiple, well, they do say a variety of materials. I don't know if that means there'll be the currency in just that one, or if there'll be more, but they do say that they can be earned by participating in the era through the Colosseum, the marquee events, and journey events, and the episode track milestones, or purchased from the store. So I've had a lot of discourse back and forth in my Discord about people that seem to be under the impression that we are going to have to purchase through the store in order to level up characters. I do not think that this is necessary at all. They're saying here that free-to-play players will get them to gear 12 without spending. Most players will. So if you're just playing daily or regular basis, they're probably excluding the people that, maybe log in once a week, twice a day, or twice a week, something like that, right? I do not think that purchase is mandatory, even if you're whaling. I don't think purchase is mandatory to hit 95, okay, for the materials. I imagine if you have whaled on the character to get to 7-star, you're going to be earning a different materials from things like the marquee events. If we take a look at the current marquee events that we've got right now, so we go to quests, right? And we go to character quests, we have got various quests that are tied to doing specific tasks with the marquee character that is sometimes gated by the star level. All right, so if you look down here, you'd be like, requires 260 shards and you must win 20 battles with Zuckus in your squad, for example. I think that we'll still get stuff like episode points from this, but we'll also get stuff like era currency and era materials in order to level up that character. So it sort of incentivizes people that are whaling that they can take those characters to higher era levels so that when they finish the era, they can come out with a stronger character at the end of it. So I do not think that purchasing materials for characters to level them up in the era system will at all be mandatory. It is more similar, in my opinion, to what you see with the episode track. In the episode track, each 28 days you can buy a pass. When you buy the pass, you can actually get an upgraded pass over here, which boosts your episode content rewards with further episode pass plus. Receive the benefits of the standard pass and immediately receive 50,000 episode points and progress 10 milestones on the track. You don't get anything extra per se by buying this pass. All this pass does is it levels you up 10 levels on the pass here. It's completely optional. You do not need that to complete your episode track at all. You don't need it. As you can see, we've got 12 days and 3 hours left. I've not bought that plus pass. We've maxed out the episode track already. Does it give you a little bit more? Yeah, because we can constantly gain additional amounts of episode currency at the end of it. But it's not necessary in any way, straight or form. Now, I'm saying this based on the information that we have now. In the future, in the next 2 weeks, we might notice that actually you do need to purchase some materials if you want to actually level up that era character. I'm hoping that's not the case because I don't want CG to start reaching for more and more money for basically the same sort of thing. Now, we don't know, might have to walk back on that, but I believe that you should be able to earn everything that you need to level up these characters through the standardized events. Okay, so to give you an idea of what you should be able to expect, in order to hit the different thresholds, right, you need to have different stars. Now, 4 and 5 stars are quite achievable without spending money or by low levels of whaling, because all you need to get for 4 stars is 30 shards, okay? If you were to buy a 5-pack, on average, that should give you 35 shards, because you're getting an average of a 7 pull. 5 times 7 is 35 shards. You should at least be able to get to 4 stars, and then by the end of that week, you will be very close to 5 stars for the character if the marquee structure doesn't change. If you also happen to buy the episode track, you'll get an extra 20 shards and you should absolutely hit 5 stars. Or maybe you might need a few extra pulls, maybe you get lucky, this way, that way. Either way, 4 stars is very achievable even for a free-to-play player. 5 stars is achievable for people that do a very light level of spending, I believe, if you're managing your crystals correctly. 6 stars and 7 stars are really kind of reserved for the whales. Now, if you can get to 5 stars, based on what CG is saying, you'll be able to hit level 76 to 85, going through the error system, which means if you've gotten to 5 stars, you could potentially get every new marquee character at Relic 2 and ability level 7. So you don't get the Xaereths. Xaereths are only reserved for people that go full send on the whaling, and ironically speaking, they're probably the people that need it the least, apart from brand new whales. So this top end, if you do go all the way, get them at 7 stars, trust that's by the end of the era, you don't need to go to 7 stars day 1, you'll get the Xaereth abilities on those characters for free, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool, especially for new whales that are heavily spending. They're always absolutely strapped for Xaereth materials. So this kind of circumvents that for new characters, which means you can spend your existing income of Xaereths on your old legacy characters. And this is how that sort of looks when you go to inspect the character. You can see behind here, this is what the error characters will look like, almost exactly the same as standard, but there is no option to apply gear in the background. Look behind this error level information, and there's also no way to mod them. So you can't use your mods, you can't use your gear, you can only level up using your error currency and your error materials. Those error levels that you get on these characters result in different gear levels and ability levels for your characters, okay? So these abilities will level up, your gear will level up, your stats will level up, and then in the end you could potentially have anywhere between a Gear 12 character and a Relic 6 character with their Xaereths applied, based on the amount of whaling. Now personally, I think this is a really cool new way of getting characters. We really don't have to worry about gearing our old characters or the new characters. You don't have to worry about where do you invest. It does still require you to play daily, but this is a game that you kind of have to play daily anyway. Now I do have a few concerns about how long it takes from error characters to go from error into the legacy system, how long they become free-to-play farmable and all that sort of thing, and how that translates into the requirements to unlock journey guide characters after the fact of the error is finished. Right now, if you get the characters to 4 star, you'll actually unlock the journey guide character at 4 star during the error itself, which is a really cool feature because you don't need to think about, oh, I need to get them to 4 star, but I also need to get them to Relic 7. You know, like you don't have to do that anymore. That might change when the journey guide, when the error finishes and it goes into a limited time event for the next year before it goes permanently to journey guide a year later. Either way, I want to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts, your concerns, your enjoyments, your likes, your dislikes about this new gearing system? Are you happy, excited, or are you just a little bit meh? I don't know. Either way, the one thing that you should take away from this is that I love you dearly. I'll see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.